The censor board's decision to chop off kissing scenes from the latest Bond movie set Twitter on fire. Let's take a look at this report.
Let me take you through some of the top trends and the top memes. Here is the first one. This, of course, is the famous James Bond girl, and right next to it is the Sanskari James Bond girl in her sari, dressed like a bride. Here's the next one. Here's the Sanskari James Bond's car with the nimbu, the lemon. Don't miss it. Right at the corner here, the lemon on that fancy car that James Bond drives. Here is the Sanskari James Bond with his latest gadgets. Mithun Chakrabarti hiding behind a cycle, firing away with his pistol. That's the Sanskari Indian James Bond. And this too, weapon of the Sanskari James Bond, 00 Trishul. That's the Sanskari James Bond. And this is what a James Bond kiss scene would look like if Pahlaj Nehlani were the director. You've got two roses pecking each other, and that's the amount of kissing that Pahlaj Nehlani would be okay with, at least as far as Twitterati is concerned. And then here's the vamp. So you've got the James Bond vamp, and then you've got the Sanskari James Bond vamp. And this is the last one. This comes from Junjunwala. This is the Sanskari James Bond girl, Radhima.
Let's go across to Roshni Agarwal, who now joins us with all the latest. Roshni, can you share a Sanskari James Bond joke with us? Does something come to your mind?
Yes, definitely. This is not the first time that the censor board is in news for the wrong reason. In fact, people are tweeting about how Alok Nath should be the new James Bond of India for it to be passed by the censor board for the Indian audience, because that's what people think should be James Bond's new franchisee for the Indian audience. A lot of people are also saying that, you know, hate is public in India, but love is private, and how Hate Story should be released in MP3 format because kissing scenes are not allowed in India. This is not, in fact, the first movie. Even Tamasha, the Indian movie, has faced the same issue. The kissing scene between Ranbir and Deepika is also cut down to almost 50%. So this is what's the latest with the censor board. In fact, we tried getting in touch with Pahlaj Nehlani, who's the chairperson also. He's avoiding, obviously, our calls, and he's not reacting to the news. But a lot of people are reacting negatively to this news that, you know, James Bond is quite a popular franchisee amongst the Indian audience also, and anything that the censor board does also obviously affects the fans of the franchisee.
All right, and Roshni, we also heard a couple of filmmakers come out and say that they are going, I mean, the serious part of what is happening, a couple of filmmakers, particularly Mahesh Bhatt, saying that this is the return to the dark ages as far as cinema is concerned. Are we seeing similar protests? Because it seems, it at least appears, that the position that the censor board had taken many months back, they are consistent on their position. You want a kiss scene, please take an A certificate and we are okay with the kiss scene. You want UA certificate, we'll have to chop it off.
Yeah, that's what's been happening now for a while. In fact, if you remember, there was a huge meeting with all the A-listers, Amir Khan, Anushka Sharma, Deepika, the Bhatts, in fact, and all the big producers and filmmakers with the INB Ministry, Rajyavardhan Rathod, in Mumbai a few months ago, when they had discussed the same issue that a lot of films were delayed because of censor board issues with their scenes or delay in the certificate issued by the censor board. So that's what's the problem now. You know, it's going unnoticed by the ministry also. People are not really taking the problem seriously, and the filmmakers are now again facing issues with scenes when it comes to love-making scenes in the films, or in fact even the release of the film with the proper certificate.
Well, I don't know whether it's politically correct to say this or not, Roshni, but I mean, very soon, with the way piracy goes on in this country, very soon one could in fact expect an unabridged version of James Bond. And that is not really going to be you know, in control of the censor board. So while it tries to cut those scenes, perhaps if you can do a little bit of illegality, or you can live with a little bit of illegality, which we are not promoting, by the way, Roshni. We are not certainly promoting illegality. It will be available soon on on those pirated DVDs. But thanks very much, Roshni, for joining us this morning. We'll come back to you, and we are expecting that Roshni gets us an interview with Alok Nath on the proposition of playing the next James Bond. Thanks very much, Roshni.
Nisagama manipamaga nipamaga sanipamani sapasa जहाँ तक यादें याद आती रहेगी